My name is Michael Turner, and until last autumn, I believed the forest was the safest place in the world. Quiet, undisturbed, pure, a place where nothing bad could reach you. That illusion died the night Rex saved our lives. My wife, Emily, had been exhausted from work, and I'd been drowning in deadlines. So when she suggested a weekend camping trip, just the two of us, I didn't argue. We loaded the truck, packed too much food, grabbed the tent, and, of course, Rex, my 4-year-old German shepherd, my shadow, my protector. He jumped into the truck bed the second I opened it, tail wagging like he knew this trip was for him too. But the closer we got to the trailhead, the quieter he became. Emily noticed first. "He's not usually this still," she murmured. And she was right. Rex wasn't whining, he wasn't pacing, he wasn't excited. He was listening to something we couldn't hear. We reached the clearing just before sunset. Tall pines, a slow river, a circle of stones where other campers once placed their fire. It should have been perfect, but Rex stepped out of the truck like a soldier stepping into enemy territory. His ears went up. His head turned sharply toward the dense side of the forest. His tail lowered, not fearful, alert. "Buddy?" I asked. "What's going on?" He didn't respond, didn't even look at me. Emily frowned. "Mike, something's off." I brushed it off. Maybe he smelled a deer. But Rex wasn't tracking game. He was tracking danger. We set up the tent, lit a small fire, unpacked our gear. But Rex never relaxed. He stood near the fire, facing the same patch of trees, completely motionless. The flames danced across his eyes, but he didn't blink. "Mike," Emily whispered, "he's never done this. Not ever." I knew, but I pretended I didn't. Maybe because admitting it would mean admitting something was wrong, and I didn't want anything ruining this trip, especially not something I couldn't see. But then the forest went dead silent. No birds, no crickets, no wind, just silence. Rex took a slow step forward, then another. His growl was so low I felt it before I heard it. "What do you see, boy?" I whispered. He didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't blink. That was when the sound came. It rose from deep inside the valley, long, cold, heavy. Not a coyote, not a dog, a wolf, a big one. Emily froze. "Mike, wolves don't come this far down." "I know," I said, but I didn't sound convinced. Rex snapped his head toward the sound, teeth baring instantly. Then another howl answered it. Closer, and another. Even closer. Emily grabbed my arm, nails digging into my sleeve. "Mike, they're surrounding us." Rex stepped forward until he was at the edge of the firelight. His whole body was a warning. Chest low, head forward, tail stiff, muscles locked. I'd never seen him like that. Not even once. The fire crackled behind us. And then, across the creek, two glowing amber eyes appeared, low, still, fixed on us. Then two more appeared to the left, then two more to the right. My breath evaporated. Emily whispered, barely audible, "Oh my God, Mike, they're everywhere." Rex barked once, a sharp, explosive burst that echoed through the trees. But the wolves didn't move. They didn't run. They stepped closer. Their silhouettes emerged between the trees, thick fur, broad shoulders, slow, deliberate steps. A pack, a large one, and in front of them, bigger than the rest, eyes brighter, stance lower, the alpha. Rex growled, louder than I had ever heard. Emily grabbed my jacket. "Mike, he's going to attack." "No," I said. "He's going to defend." The alpha lowered its head. Rex lowered his. Two predators, two leaders, two warriors sizing each other up. The moment the alpha's paw shifted even half an inch, Rex launched himself forward, straight into the darkness, straight at the alpha, straight into a fight he knew he might not survive. Rex hit the alpha wolf before I could even shout his name. The two bodies collided with a force that cracked through the trees. The alpha snarled, teeth flashing, while Rex drove his shoulder into its ribs with all his strength. Emily screamed behind me, "Mike, do something!" But there was nothing I could do. Rex wasn't just fighting, he was defending. He was doing the one job nature engineered him for. And the one job he chose long before I understood him. To protect us. The moment Rex and the alpha locked together, the rest of the pack reacted like a single organism. 4 wolves circled left, 2 circled right. 1 hesitated, watching for weakness. They weren't chaotic. They were coordinated. Predators, hunters. Emily clutched my arm, trembling. "Mike, they're going to surround him." "I know," I said, voice shaking. I grabbed a burning branch from the fire and swung it toward the wolves closing in. Sparks flew, lighting their snarling faces for a split second. Their eyes reflected the flames. Cold, focused, hungry. I yelled, "Get back!" But wolves don't fear humans. Not when they're starving. Not when their alpha is under attack. And not when they drastically outnumber you. Rex broke free from the alpha just long enough to pivot and body slam a second wolf lunging at Emily's side. He wasn't fighting to win. He was fighting to buy us time. But wolves don't give time. A third wolf charged. Rex whirled around and snapped his jaws inches from its throat, forcing it back, but the alpha lunged again, straight at Rex's exposed flank. "No!" I screamed. The alpha's teeth grazed Rex's shoulder, just a scratch, but the force of the hit sent Rex skidding across the dirt. He recovered instantly, digging his claws into the ground, positioning himself between us and the pack again. Emily covered her mouth, tears spilling down her face. "He's going to get killed, Mike." And she meant it, because even from where I stood, I could see it. Rex was outnumbered, outmuscled, but not outwilled, not for a second. He growled, deeper than before, his entire body shaking with adrenaline. It wasn't a threat. It was a vow. "You're not getting to them, not while I'm breathing." The pack shifted again. 2 wolves broke formation and rushed toward our tent, sniffing wildly, tearing at the flap, searching. For food, for opportunity, or for Emily. "Mike, they're going for our supplies." "No," I said quietly. "They're testing us." A distraction, a diversion. The alpha growled, a deep, commanding sound that chilled me to the bone. The wolves near the tent immediately stopped and turned back toward us. They weren't after food, they were after us. Which meant Rex wasn't fighting to scare them away. He was fighting to keep them from attacking us directly. "Emily," I whispered, "get behind the log, slowly." She swallowed hard and moved, crawling behind a fallen tree. Rex saw her move and exploded forward, placing himself between her and the 2 wolves advancing from the left. He barked, one single violent sound, and the wolves halted, just for a second. But in that second, the alpha attacked again. It lunged at Rex's blind side, jaws open, and Rex turned at the last possible moment, slamming his body into the alpha's chest. The 2 tumbled into the dirt, snarling, claws raking the ground, the sound of teeth on fur, of snarls echoing through the trees, of paws slamming into the earth. It didn't sound like an animal fight. It sounded like war. 1 wolf broke formation and sprinted toward Emily. I didn't think. I didn't hesitate. I grabbed a second burning log and hurled myself forward, shouting like a madman. "Get away from her!" The wolf recoiled from the flames, but only for a moment. Then it circled me, growling, ready to test me again. My hands shook so hard the fire flickered wildly. "Mike," Emily whispered, "I'm scared." "I know." But Rex, he wasn't afraid. Even while wrestling the alpha, he twisted his head and barked sharply, telling her, "Stay down, I'm still here." That bark gave her courage. It gave me courage. And suddenly, something in the forest shifted. A sound, a crack, branches snapping, not from wolves, from something else. The wolves heard it too. Their ears perked, their bodies tensed. And for the first time that night, the wolves hesitated. Rex sensed it. His growl lowered, his stance adjusted. He stood tall, even bloodied, and stared into the darkness behind the wolves. Like whatever was coming next was worse, much worse. The alpha growled sharply, not at Rex, not at us, but at something deeper inside the forest. Emily whispered, "Mike, if the wolves are scared, what else is in these woods?" I didn't know, but the way Rex stiffened, the way the wolves backed up, the way the air itself felt heavier, told me. One thing, the wolves weren't hunting us. They were running from something much bigger, much more dangerous, and we were standing directly in its path. Rex turned to face the new threat, and the wolves, sensing the shift, slowly retreated into the shadows, leaving us alone, exposed, and completely unprepared for what stepped out next. For a long moment, the forest held its breath. The wolves had backed away, not defeated, not chased off, but startled. Predators don't retreat unless something bigger is coming. Rex knew it. The wolves knew it. And every instinct in my body screamed that whatever was moving through the trees was something neither humans nor wolves wanted to face. Emily pressed herself against the log, trembling. "Mike, what else lives out here?" I didn't answer, because Rex already had. He stepped forward, just one step, but it was enough to tell me, "It's not over." His eyes were fixed on the blackness between the pines. And then, we heard it. Not a howl, not a growl. A low, rumbling vibration that rolled through the dirt under my feet. Emily grabbed my arm. "Mike, what is that?" I shook my head slowly. "I don't know." But Rex did. His tail lowered, his ears flattened, his body pressed close to the ground, muscles trembling, not in fear, but in anticipation. The wolves, still visible between the trees, began retreating deeper into the woods, looking over their shoulders like prey fleeing a hunter. And then the sound came again, a thudding. Heavy, rhythmic, footsteps, large ones. Branches snapped like toothpicks, brush tore, leaves scattered. Rex snarled, a deep primal warning I'd never heard from him in his entire life. Emily whispered, "Mike, do you think it's a bear?" I swallowed hard. "No, bears don't make wolves run." The footsteps stopped. Everything fell silent. Even the river behind us seemed to hold still. Rex's body stiffened so suddenly it looked like something had grabbed his spine. He leaned forward, eyes locked on something I couldn't see. I followed his gaze. And the darkness moved. Not a shape, not an animal. A presence. Something massive, hidden just out of sight, its outline shifting between the trunks, too large to fully step into the clearing. Emily whispered through clenched teeth, "Mike, it's watching us." I didn't reply, because I saw it too. The shape wasn't advancing. It was waiting, judging, choosing. Rex barked, a violent, explosive sound that tore through the air. The shadow shifted, branches above us rustled, and then, with the speed of lightning, something leapt down onto the forest floor. Emily screamed. I stumbled back. Rex lunged forward, but instead of attacking, the creature retreated one step into the light. And I finally saw its eyes. Not amber like the wolves, silver, cold, reflecting nothing but hunger. This wasn't just a wolf, it was larger, taller, its fur darker, its body thicker, a rogue male, a lone giant forced out of its pack, and starving, which made it more dangerous than any alpha. It let out a guttural growl that rattled my ribs. Emily gasped, "Mike, that's not a normal wolf." "No," I whispered, "it's not." This was the one the pack was running from. The rogue wolf lowered its head. Its muscles rippled. Saliva dripped from its jaws. Rex took one step forward. Emily grabbed my jacket. "Mike, stop him!" But Rex wasn't stopping. Not now. Not while this thing was sizing us up like prey. He positioned himself between the creature and Emily, teeth bared, every hair on his body standing upright. And then, with horrifying clarity, the wolf shifted its gaze to my wife. It didn't want Rex. It wanted her. "Emily, behind the rock!" I yelled. She scrambled backward, slipping on pine needles. The wolf lunged. Rex struck first. He slammed into its shoulder midair, knocking its leap off course. The creature crashed into the dirt, claws digging trenches as it tried to regain its footing. But Rex didn't give it time. He dashed to Emily, standing over her protectively, barking and snarling with a ferocity I'd never seen. The wolf circled us, slow, calculating, testing, not reckless like the pack, smarter, a real killer. The rogue wolf lunged again, this time aiming straight for Rex. Rex dodged left, then right, snapping at the wolf's flank. His teeth grazed its side, and for a second, I thought Rex had the upper hand. But the wolf was too big, too fast, too desperate. It reared up and crashed down on Rex's back, knocking him into the dirt. Emily screamed. I swung the burning branch in my hand, yelling, "Get off him!" The wolf snapped toward me, teeth inches from my face, and I stumbled backward. Rex exploded upward, driving his shoulder into the wolf's ribs, forcing it off me. They rolled across the ground, snarling, biting, tearing at each other. Fur flew, blood spotted the leaves, the dirt churned beneath their bodies. It didn't look like an animal fight, it looked like a death match. And Rex wasn't fighting for dominance, he was fighting for us. The rogue wolf clamped its jaws around Rex's hind leg, and Rex howled in pain. Emily sobbed behind the rock. "Mike, he's hurt!" I grabbed a heavier log from the fire, heart pounding, and ran toward them. But before I could get there, Rex twisted his entire body, spun under the wolf's weight, and bit into its front legs so hard the wolf stumbled sideways. It wasn't a winning move. It was a desperate move, a survival move. The wolf snarled and backed up, limping slightly. Rex took his stance again, bleeding from his leg, panting heavily but still standing, still protecting, still refusing to let that monster step 1 inch closer to Emily. I whispered, "Good boy, hold on." But the wolf wasn't finished. It crouched low, its silver eyes locked on Emily again, and then it charged, straight toward her. Rex didn't even hesitate. He hurled himself into the wolf, biting its throat mid-leap, and the two tumbled violently down the slope behind our campsite, disappearing into the darkness. Emily screamed his name. "Rex!" I ran after them, knowing that if Rex didn't stop that thing alone in the ravine, it would climb back up for us next. Rex and the rogue wolf crashed down the slope in a violent blur of fur, teeth, and earth. I slid after them, grabbing roots and branches, dirt scraping under my nails. Emily stayed at the top, sobbing Rex's name as the echoes of snarls tore through the ravine. My heart hammered so hard I couldn't hear my own breath. "Rex!" I shouted into the darkness. "Rex! Answer me!" But the only response was the sound of a body slamming into a fallen log, followed by a guttural snarl that didn't belong to a dog. I ran faster. Branches whipped my face. Stones shifted under my boots. The forest tilted and spun as I reached the bottom of the ravine. And there, in the faint glow of moonlight filtering through the trees, I saw them. Rex stood between us and the rogue wolf, legs trembling, blood staining his fur. His breath came in short bursts, each exhale a painful growl. He was exhausted, hurt, barely holding on. But he didn't move. He didn't back down. He didn't blink. The rogue wolf circled him slowly, wounded, bleeding, yet still towering over Rex. Its silver eyes flicked toward the slope behind me, toward Emily. That was when I understood. It didn't care about me. It didn't even care about Rex. It wanted the easiest prey. Emily. My stomach tightened. "Rex," I whispered, stepping back. "Don't let him through." As if he needed to be told. The wolf lunged. Rex launched himself upward despite the pain tearing through his leg. He clamped his jaws into the wolf's shoulder, using every ounce of strength left in his body. The wolf thrashed violently, twisting, trying to shake him off. Rex held on. Even as the wolf slammed him into a rock, even as Rex's breath hitched, even as blood dripped from his mouth, he didn't let go, because letting go meant Emily would die. I grabbed a large stone, bigger than my hand, and rushed toward the fight. "Let him go!" I screamed, bringing the rock down onto the wolf's back. The wolf jerked sideways, stunned just long enough for Rex to break free. It snapped at me, teeth flashing inches from my arm, and I stumbled backward. The wolf approached slowly now, deliberately, confidently. A top predator who finally saw an opening, its eyes locked on me. Then I heard a sound behind me, a soft whimper. Emily. The wolf's ears flicked. It changed course. It turned toward her. "No," I whispered. "No, no, no, don't!" The wolf sprinted toward the slope, claws tearing into the dirt, and Rex, bleeding and shaking, forced himself to stand. He ran. He ran, on an injured leg, with blood loss, with pain radiating through his body. He ran. He caught the wolf at the base of the slope, slamming into its ribs so hard the creature lost its footing. They tumbled again. I scrambled after them, shouting Rex's name until my voice cracked. Emily sobbed from above. "Mike, help him, please!" But Rex was too far ahead now. This fight was happening whether I reached him or not. The rogue wolf pinned Rex to the ground, its jaws wrapped around his neck. Rex let out a choked growl, weak, fading. My heart shattered. No! I sprinted, swinging another rock, screaming like my soul was being ripped open. I hit the wolf's spine, once, twice, 3 times. The wolf released Rex with a violent snarl and turned toward me. Its jaws snapped into my jacket sleeve, ripping it open before I managed to wrench my arm free. It lunged again. I braced myself, but Rex moved faster. He lunged from the ground, clamping his jaws into the wolf's throat, not hesitating, not holding back. A final, desperate strike. The wolf thrashed, claws slashing, body whipping from side to side. But Rex held on. He held on even as the wolf's strength faded. He held on even as the growling turned to gurgling. He held on until the rogue wolf collapsed completely, its massive body slumping into the dirt. And then, silence. Only Rex's shaking breaths remained. I dropped the stone and fell to my knees beside him. Rex, buddy, look at me. His eyes opened, barely. He licked my hand weakly. Emily scrambled down the slope, slipping, crying, calling his name until she reached us and wrapped her arms around both of us. You saved us, she sobbed into his fur. You saved our lives. I pressed my forehead to his. You're the bravest creature I've ever known. Rex closed his eyes, not in pain, but in relief. He had done his job. He had protected his pack. It took us 2 hours to climb out of the ravine with Rex in our arms. Every few steps he whimpered softly, and every time Emily kissed his head and said, You're okay. You're safe now. We've got you. We made it back to the truck by sunrise. I drove to the nearest emergency vet, an hour away, running stop signs, ignoring speed limits, praying every second. Rex drifted in and out of consciousness in Emily's lap. Stay with me, she whispered. Please stay with me. The vet rushed him inside the moment we arrived. 2 hours passed, longest 2 hours of my life. When the vet finally returned, she smiled softly. He's a fighter, she said. He'll need stitches, fluids, rest, but he's going to make it. Emily cried into my shirt. I broke down right beside her. Rex wagged his tail weakly from the recovery room. The bravest tail wag I've ever seen. Weeks later, after Rex healed, we drove back to the campsite, not to stay, but to leave something behind. Emily placed a carved wooden tag at the base of the tree where Rex made his last stand. It read, For the one who protected our lives with his own. Rex sniffed the plaque, then sat proudly beside it, chest out, head high. Not for glory, not for pride, just because he knew. His family was safe because of him. Rex didn't just save our lives that night. He reminded us what love looks like when it chooses to be brave.